All right, so here we go. We're ready to take a look today on solving multi-step equations. Okay, so we're going to work on solving multi-step equations. The class would like to say hi, so this is your one shot. Say hi.
Yo, what's up? You're a bum.
Enough. Okay, so here we go. Multi-step equations. Now, before when we were looking at these things, we were looking at putting like terms together, if there were any, on one side of the equals. If you'll notice, if we look at just this side of the equals, the like terms are already put together. And on this side of the equals, the like terms are already put together. Now, what we need to do is we need to get an x all by itself, but I've got x's on both sides. So what I like to do is do something to make it so I have an x only on one side. And we start with the variable parts. Although it's legal to start with the others, I like to start with the variable parts. Jolene.
Minus 3x from both sides.
So I want it, yes, I would like to take away 3x from both sides. So minus 3x and minus 3x. When I do that, I'm left with negative 10 on this side. 3x minus 3x disappeared. Actually, over here, 7x minus 3x gives you how much? 4x. So 4x minus 10 equals 10. All right, so now that I have that, then it comes down to something more easier. And what do we do? Add 10. So I have 4x equals 10 plus 10, so 20. And then I need to get the last part, you do
4
divided by 4. So we're going to divide by 4.
And then you do that 20 also divide by 4.
So that gives us 5. So that's our answer. Now, you need to know that this answer can be checked. We can make sure that you have the right thing on it. So in order to check it, I need to plug this 5 into both sides of my equation. So I want to find out what 7 times 5 minus 10 equals. And I need to find out what 3 times 5 plus 10 equals. If we've done the work correctly, we're going to get the same answer. So on here, 7 times 5 is 35. And 35 minus 10 is 25. Over here, 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 10 gives you 25. And yay, you've got the same thing, so it worked out. So because if it's truly a solution, it has to make both sides true. Now tomorrow's lesson, I'll give you a little heads up on tomorrow's lesson. Tomorrow's lesson, you could still also check if you want to, but it deals with fractions and decimals. So you can always put back in and check your work on that. But I focused more on the how-tos tomorrow rather than the checks themselves. Yes, sir.
What if we do 7? What if we do 7 to 3x minus 7x? 7x. Why don't we do 7x plus 7x when I'm doing taking the other side?
What are you doing to both sides?
So like, know how we
Say it again.
Alright, so you know how you did 3x minus 7x. Why can't you just do 7x plus 7x and then do something else?
Okay, if I did plus 7x on both sides,
Oh, then yeah, that's it.
I'd have 14x over here and I'd have 10x over here.
Yeah.
So you could do that, but it wouldn't help you. Because your idea is to take it so that it's no longer found on one side. And the only place that you have the variable is on the other side. Okay, so it's got to be gone from one side to be able to solve it. Yes?
Wait, why do you minus 3?
Because if I have, the way that I get rid of a plus 3x is to do minus 3x. Okay? 3x minus 3x is 0 x's. So there's 0 x's left over here. I want there to be 0 x's left on one side, at least one side, and then over here we have some x's left. So we get x equals 5 as a solution, because once you have the variable on one side, it becomes an easy problem, okay? So we can do that to solve it. Let's look at another one, because we do have, sometimes you have simplifying things to do. So here's another one. I may need to move this other one down a little bit to get it a little bit more space for working. Move this one out of our way for a minute. Okay, so right here. Before we start doing things to both sides here, we need to take care of these parentheses with the thing outside. So we need to remember to do what? Distribute. So we're going to distribute. So 12x, negative 12x, don't forget it's a negative. And then negative 12 times negative 5 gives 60, and it's a plus 60. Can you help me please with the other one on this side?
5x plus 20.
5x plus 20. Minus 62. Okay, so you've got the distributive property happening. Yes. All right, so once you have that, you need to check each side to see if there's any like terms can get put together. Can I put together negative 12x and 60? You can all just answer. No. No. Can't put together negative 12x and 60 because we've got a variable and we've got a non-variable. Over here, is there anything that can get put together? Good, 62 and 20. So 20 minus 62. So I'm going to rewrite my negative 12x plus 60. And I'm going to keep my 5x. And 20 minus 62 gives us 42. So minus 42. Okay, so all I did was put the like terms together. I did not do something to both sides, so it's not like I had to reverse signs or anything like that. Now I'm going to give you a little hint here, okay? My little hint is that when I have a negative and I have a positive, it's easier to get rid of the negative one than the positive one and get right answers. You could, if you wanted to, do minus 5x, but what I've found is that people do a little bit better if instead of getting rid of the 5x, they add 12x. Because when you add 12x, then you don't have as many negatives to deal with. Because negative 12x and plus 12x gives you how much? 0x. So I'm left with just 60 on this side. On this side, I have 5x plus 12x, which gives us 17x minus 42. Okay, now, yes, the x is on the right. That's fine. But we need to now do what? Yep. Plus 42 on both sides, which gives us 102 equals 17x. And our...
That's 6.
So what do we do? What do you do?
Divided by 17.
Divide by 17. So when you do 102 divided by 17.
What did you say?
No. So what did you, when you did it, what did you get?
6.
6, because 6 times 17. Whoever's making that noise with your mouth, you need to stop. So 102. So x is 102. Not, no, it is not. What is x?
6.
X is 6. Okay. And I will tell you ahead of time in the video that I did not feel like going back and doing, there's another thing that I did something like that. And you're all going to go, wait, you made a mistake. And then I did correct myself within less than 10 seconds. So, but I know that some of you like immediately will catch it. So that's just fine. All right. But all the calculations were done right. It's just a matter of when I it was a word problem, and then when I copied it up to the answer part, I put the wrong answer in. And I corrected myself, yes.
What's the new schedule for?
The new schedule is just off a couple of minutes, so I have to get in my head that we're done at 9:04 rather than 9:08 today.
Wait, why is
Can I
it
teach
wait, why
you?
is it off?
All right, so here's the thing, it's very hard to get this to work out and be able to get the writing to work out, so I need to do this. I'm recording it for others today, so
Allie explained
you can, so what do you believe you would do first in this problem?
Okay, so you can take out the 4A.
So how would you take out the 4A? So we're gonna do plus 4A.
And then we put 4A on the other side.
And put 4A on the other side, which gives you what? Go ahead and simplify.
7 plus 9
Mhm.
equals 170.
Equals 170.
Then we do minus 9.
And then, now, so then we do minus 9,
Yeah.
like you said. And how much does that give you?
161.
Okay, and then we do
7.
divide by
Divide by 7.
divide by 7.
And then
So 161 divided by 7. I'm going to show the work just to help those. So this would be a 2.
and then 14.
14,
And 2.
2, bring down the 1.
3.
So A equals 23. Please make sure when you do these that you indicate your answer. Okay, the check was all well and good and nice, but that doesn't say what the answer is. That just says that you could check it and get the right answer. Okay, so working on both sides like this. All right, here we go. Here's one of those.
Nick knows how to do this.
Okay, we had, some of you had a little problem on this, but let's work. No, okay, so here's the thing. I'd like to kind of spread around the asking of questions, because when I have one person explain the whole thing, I mean, even I like defer to you guys so that I can make sure that I've got more people involved rather than just one. So I'm gonna call on some different people. I'll call on by pointing so that we can do this correctly. Okay, so can you please tell me what you would do first?
You distribute the 2 to the t and 6.
And what does that give you?
That would be 2t and then 8 plus 8.
If you were adding it, it would be?
Oh,
So that
16. What? So, I'm sorry. 12.
12. 2 times 6, 12. Good. Okay, that happens. I get it. All right, so then the next part would be doing, actually, could you help with that?
-4t.
So negative 14, because he said he's doing the distributive, and then this would be,
-32. Sorry, minus -32.
so minus negative would give you positive. Good job. So you remembered that it was minus negative. That gives you positive. Okay, so what would you do next? What would you do next? Put the like terms together. So what's a like term with 2t?
Negative 14.
And what does that give you?
Negative 2.
Negative 2t. What's a like term with the 12? Okay, so we're just going to take one side of the equals, so definitely 32. We have to ignore this for a little while because yes, it's the same type of term. So it is like term, but on the other side of the equals, we have to keep it separate until we've simplified each individual side. So just the 12 and 32. But I'm glad you're thinking about the 77 for down the road. So 12 and 32 gives you 44. Good. And then we still have our equal sign. Make sure you are showing all your work, especially my people who like to say, I'm just doing it in my head, don't do that. These problems are way too complicated at this point. Okay, so what comes next?
Minus, no, nope, nope, no, 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 no. What you could do plus two, what?
Let's do
T.
plus 2t to make it so we have to deal with as few negatives as possible. So then when it simplifies, it looks like what?
So it'd be 44, right? 9t plus 77. Oh, no, 11t.
11t, 9 plus 9t plus 2. Yeah, stop, no, you're not. Okay. All right, so then we have that.
Oh,
And then we do what? Minus 77, sure. Because you're trying to get things away from the t. And how much does that give you when you do minus 77? Negative 33. And then finally, what do you do?
Me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna
I
divide
by 11.
on both sides.
So t equals
Negative 3.
-3. So the really neat thing is that these problems just always come down and you're simplifying, 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 and you're getting down to one answer. And the idea is that each step you do makes the problem easier and easier and easier. But we had to do that section on just simplifying so that you would always know that you simplify first. After it's simplified, then you begin to move things around, and you move them by always doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. Yep. Focus on your variables first when you start moving things around, and then the other numbers. Okay. Technically, you could do the numbers first, but from what I've found over the years, people that do the numbers first end up making mistakes. Yes.
Because I know like 15 hours do the notes for us due tomorrow, and then is this one the one we're doing right now? Is the one that's due Monday?
15. I think that's the one that we'll do tomorrow because we will have that video tomorrow.
No, 15 isn't that due tomorrow?
15 is due tomorrow, which was yesterday. 16.
Is it this one?
Yes. I think. Hold on. Before I say anything, I'd rather look. I'm going to finish the lesson before I answer questions like that on the homework and what's due and all that. So let's move on. Okay. So my other ones are up at the top. Over here. Okay. So now here's the thing. I'm going to show you today with the decimals what you can do if you're keeping decimals. Tomorrow's lesson is going to be another way that you can handle decimals. That for some people you'll find it easier, and some people you'll be like, that didn't really help. So for the decimals, if you don't find tomorrow's lesson to be helpful to you, you can keep doing what I show you right now. All right, so we have decimals. What do you do first on this? Yes. Okay, so in the parentheses though, can I put 6x minus 9 together?
No, you have to do 0.3 times.
Yeah, 0.3 times 6 and 0.3 times 9. So what does that give you? Somebody can raise your hand and tell me, Anthony. Go ahead. So 0.3 times 6 gives you?
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, in my head.
18,
That's probably so
you
wrong.
move the decimal one place, so you're right, 1.8. 1.8x minus 0.3 times 9,
Yeah.
2.7, decimal over, plus 2, 8.2x. And then after that, yes,
You minus the 1.8x.
not yet. There's some like terms that can be put together over here. What can go together?
Negative 2.72.
Negative 2.7 and 2. So how much is negative 2.7 plus 2?
Negative 1%. I don't.
Negative
2.7.
2.8.
So you're taking negative and positive, so you're gonna subtract them. The 2 lines up with the 2. So when you subtract, I get 7, 2 minus 2, so it's just 0.7, but it is negative. So negative 0.7. Yes. It would not. It can look like this. It's the same, yeah. All right, so now my like terms are together. 8.2x. And then after that, what do we do?
Subtract 8.2x.
We could subtract 8.2x, but let me tell you, don't write this down, but let me show you what happens. Don't write this down. When people tend to do this, okay, many people will miss the fact that this is a 0 and bog down and not know what to do, and it actually adds a step. So what we want to do is we want to bring it over to, and I know the last few ones we were taking away the one on the right. You can take away either one. If there is an x only on one, like if the only thing on one side is an x, it's usually easier to move it to that side. So we're going to get rid of, instead of the 8.2, let's get rid of the 1.8x. Okay. So what you said was perfectly reasonable and can be done. It just usually
It's harder.
is more difficult, right? So negative 0.7 over here. And then we're doing 8.2 minus 1.8. So don't forget
5.4. Oh, wait, no, 6.4.
6.4. So positive 6.4x. Then what? Yep.
Divide by 6.4.
Divide by 6.4. Okay, I wonder if I forgot something because okay, 0.7, forgot to write something down. 6.4, move our decimal over 1. Still doesn't help, we need to add a 0. 64.
Get 60.
60.
0.
0.
600.
600.
Still annoying.
I knew that was the deal was there.
And that's going to give us tedious, yeah. Maybe 9 or 8.
I think I'm trying 9 right now.
Let's try 9 and see.
I got 576, I think.
So 64 times 9.
I got 576. I think I did.
Let's just double check.
Yeah, 563.
I don't know. No. 6 times 9 is
54.
54 plus 3,
No,
5,
no, no,
57.
It's 56. Yeah, 6 times 9.
6 times 9 is 36. 6 times 9 is 54.
57.
57, yeah.
Yes.
576. 576. And then we get 24. 5, 10, 9, and all right, so here's the thing. I'm just going to make a direction here that says round to the hundreds.
1.
So we're going to say that this is about equal to 0.11, and we're just going to end it there. Negative. Thank you, because negative divided by positive is negative. I think I must have, when I picked that example, I think I forgot to write a piece of it, which is why it came out wonky. Yes.
If you rounded it, wouldn't you like the squiggly equals or something?
Yes.
Yeah, you should put the squiggly equals. To be completely correct, we would make the squiggly equals on that. I'm going to figure out how I chose a bad example in a minute. All right.
I'm trying to solve it here. Give me a second.
Okay. Let's move on, because you got the process, and this is actually getting rid of those decimals would be a thing. So let's take a look at this one. And we want to do this fraction one. Let's see here. Oh, I think it's I know why it didn't come out. Even the original problem that I meant to write had a negative in the 0.8, like up here. Okay. The problem
I
that
got
I
it.
meant to write had a negative here and
I
then
got
that
an answer.
He feels like he got it.
Oh,
It don't
it
matter.
keeps on going?
No, I got it.
Okay. I mean, it keeps on going and it ends?
Yeah.
That's fine. But we're just gonna stop it right there. Because on the homework, there are gonna be ones that actually end. All right, here we go. So these are fifths. So what we need to do here, we need to do what?
Would it be 7 and 6?
7, good. 7 times 6/5. So 7 times 6/5 would give you
7
times 6/5, not 7 and 6/5. 7 times 6/5 would be 7/1, so 42/5. Don't forget how to multiply fractions. 7 times negative b would be negative 7b. This is why you're going to love tomorrow's lesson when it deals with getting rid of the fractions. Plus 3/5 b equals, let's distribute here.
Wait, so is this and tomorrow? Then you're going to say that lesson?
Now, tomorrow is the same, some of the same topics, but it deals with getting rid of fractions and decimals. It also deals with coin problems. So 2/5 times b is 2/5 b. How much is 2/5 times 5?
2.
It is 2. Because look what happens. This is really 10/5, which is 2. Or we can say, well, the 5 cancels with the 5, and that gives you 2. So 2/5 b plus 2. All right, now we need to put our like terms together. So what's happening with our like terms here?
7, 3/5, 2/5.
Okay, so 7b and 3/5 b we're going to put together. This one we're going to keep separate. So now we're doing 7/1 plus 3/5. We need to get common denominators. 5 times 5 times 5. So negative 35/5 plus 3/5 gives us negative 32/5. B plus 42/5 equals 2/5 b plus 2.
So you can switch the order of the 42/5.
We could switch.
Or the 42/5 in the front, doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter because it's still plus on that. Okay. All right, so negative 32b, let's do plus 32b, 32/5 b. Plus 32/5 b. You're going to love what we do tomorrow because it's going to get rid of these fractions earlier on. So 32 plus 2 is 34/5 b equals 42/5. I need to bring this down a little bit. In a minute. We need to take away 2 from both sides. But now we've got another dilemma because we've got a common denominator thing that we have to do again. So I'm taking 42/5 minus 2, which is 42/5 minus 10/5, which gives me 32/5. All right, then finally, what step do we do to get this by itself? Or multiply by the reciprocal of 34/5. So I'm going to take my 32/5, multiply it times 5 over 34. 5 over 34 times 34/5. And that will give you 1b over here. My 5s will cancel out.
32.
Well, what goes into 32 and 34? 2. So how much is 32 divided by 2? 16. How much is 34 divided by 2? So it's 16/17. Okay, so I can scroll back up. In the interest of ending the recording, I'm going to end the recording. So I hope that the 8th graders.
Bye.